Lion Knights, thanks for joining us. I'm Jayla Wilkes, and today is Friday, April 10th, 2020. Here's your nightly news update. UCF interim president Thad Seymour Jr. is saying goodbye to his role as interim president. In a farewell message to UCF, Thad and Katie Seymour state leading UCF has been the greatest honor of our lives. The two created a farewell video reflecting on the past year. According to the Office of the President, Seymour also serves as UCF's Vice President for Partnerships and Chief Innovation Officer. Seymour was elected as interim president on February 21st, 2019. Yesterday, interim provost Michael D. Johnson and Vice President of Student Development and Enrollment Services Maribeth Ehas sent out an email regarding the Summer B semester. The email said the decision was made to move Summer B completely online. Prior decisions regarding the summer semester involved moving Summer A, C, and D online, but the decision on Summer B was held out until last night. The email also says they will continue to send out updates on how COVID-19 will affect university procedures.
The SU grading opt-in period begins today. Here's a brief recap on the policy. Students can use this grading system for any spring 2020 course. UCF encourages students to talk to their advisors about their options. Grades of satisfactory and unsatisfactory will not affect grade point average. Transcripts will indicate that this option was created due to COVID-19, and an SU grade may impact financial aid, program requirements, and applications to grad school. This ends April 27th.
The League of Women Voters of Florida started a lawsuit with an impact on early voting on college campuses. The settlement comes after a 2-year lawsuit against a directive posing restrictions on colleges wishing to be polling locations. Nightly news reporter Fritz Farrow has more on the lawsuit and the local response to the settlement.
A settlement reached by the state of Florida and activist groups reverses a directive that required early voting locations to have a specified number of non-permitted parking spaces. That directive posed a hurdle for many colleges that use a permit parking system on their campuses. Orange County Supervisor of Elections Bill Cowles welcomes the settlement. Cowles told me why he supported the settlement in a Zoom call we had earlier. Take a look.
Just like the groups that filed that lawsuit, us supervisors had many concerns about the legislative requirement about having adequate parking spaces for voters was going to be a major issue, not only with early voting, but even in some cases at polling places. Because the one thing about our business, nobody builds a building just for voting. All of our voting happens in somebody else's building that come in all different sizes and shapes.
The settlement now also allows colleges to host early voting polls in their student unions. In Orlando, Fritz Farrow, UCF Knightly News.
Cowles says his office will continue to host early voting at the Live Oak Event Center. For more information on how Orange County plans to facilitate voting during the pandemic, watch the full interview on our YouTube channel. As COVID-19 case numbers continue to rise in Central Florida, Nightly News has you covered on its progression. I'll send it over to Jeremy Brenner for today's COVID-19 update.
Thank you, Jayla. Today in Brevard County, there are 115 confirmed cases of COVID-19, an increase of 4 from yesterday, with 2 deaths and 33 hospitalizations, an increase of 1 from yesterday. In Orange County, there are 895 confirmed cases, with an increase of 35 from yesterday. There are 13 deaths and 121 hospitalizations, an increase of 4 from yesterday. In Osceola County, there are 300 confirmed cases, an increase of 5 from yesterday, with 5 deaths and 87 hospitalizations. And in Seminole County, there are 235 confirmed cases, an increase of 6 from yesterday, 2 confirmed deaths, an increase of 1 from yesterday, and 57 hospitalizations, an increase of 1 from yesterday. I'm here with NSM Assistant Life Editor Wavani Henry to talk about what students are reading on NSM today during coronavirus quarantine. Wavani, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm well, thanks. So obviously it's been about a month since we began our quarantines in one way or another. So what are students reading that are mostly related to COVID-19 news?
Well, a lot of the things that people are reading are about how the UCF community in general is coping with this, like not just at UCF, but places around us, like how are restaurants handling this? How are schools handling this? How are we handling events that are canceled? How are we trying to stay together still while we're apart?
And what's one story or two stories that really share that notion about what the community is doing?
I would say one story that does share that was the story that Daniela Medina did on Castaways. It's a bar close to UCF, and how they're helping by donating food during this time. Just how the UCF community is just trying to uphold some form of unity while we're all separated.
And what are some non-COVID-19 stories that students might be reading or readers might be clicking on?
Another story was about the search for nitro. It's still happening. We're still doing it. We still need a mascot. But because of coronavirus, we have to now do that through Zoom. So it'll be interesting to see how they choose a mascot through the internet.
If I knew how easy it was to audition for Nitro and I could just do it in my living room, I would have done it already.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm graduating, so I can't be Nitro anymore. But I wonder how that went for the students that actually, auditioned for Nitro in their living rooms. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they actually pick somebody.
Hmm. I mean, who knows? Maybe the next Nitro could be the person living in your apartment complex auditioning right below or above you. You never know.
Yeah, they really could be.
All right. Thank you so much, Wavani, for coming on to Nightly News, and I'll send it back to Jayla.
Construction on the Student Union expansion project continues despite the COVID-19 pandemic closing the university through the summer semesters. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued an executive order earlier this month that categorized construction workers as essential during the pandemic. Nightly News reporter Fritz Farrow has more on why construction is continuing and how COVID-19 may delay it.
Construction on the student union roars on as coronavirus has brought many industries to a screeching halt. This comes as scientists and medical professionals advise the public to avoid gatherings during the pandemic, and UCF transitions to remote learning. Student Union Director Rick Falco said they decided to continue with the construction project because they are confident workers will have minimal contact. Here is part of what he told me during a Zoom call earlier.
Social distancing on a construction site, it's a big site. Typically contractors work one or two at a time anyway. And so with social distance measures in place, it was determined that it was best path forward. But it wasn't a huge conversation, to be honest, because again, construction was considered one of the essential activities when the Orange County order came out.
The spread of COVID-19 may bring the construction project to a halt, however, as they are waiting for materials to ship from overseas. Falco says those items, including ceiling tiles from Germany, may not be shipped in time, and that delays are already projected.
The original date, the date before the pandemic was June 3rd. I think that we probably pushed that back a week or two just based on the current delivery schedules that we're seeing and the current level of work that we're able to get on the site. Of course, social distancing does have its delays that come with it as well.
Falco says the construction provides a source of income for contract workers who are paid per job rather than a salary. Reporting in Orlando, Fritz Farrow, UCF Nightly News.
The expansion project is expected to bring 400 more seats and conference rooms in the student union.
Now let's take a look at your weather forecast. Currently, it's 81 degrees outside, which is relatively low compared to the last couple of days. And there's just a 37% humidity. Winds are coming out of the north at 10 miles per hour, however, there will be gusts up to 20 miles per hour. There's just a 30% chance of rain, so you may want to keep an umbrella on you in case it does rain. However, that's mostly before 5. After 5, it should clear up just enough for you to go outside for an evening walk. So let's take a look at what that takes us for tonight. Tonight, there's a low of 57 degrees and a 36% humidity. Winds are still coming out of the north between 5 and 10 miles per hour, and the chance of rain drops to just 10%. Now let's take a look at your 5-day forecast. Starting tomorrow, Saturday, there's a high of 80 degrees and a low of 66 degrees, with a 0% chance of rain. So get out and enjoy the nice weather while it lasts, because once Sunday comes along, it will start to rain. Sunday, there's a high of 89 degrees and a low of 73 degrees, with a 30% chance of rain. Monday, we'll see a high of 92 and a low of 68 with a 40% chance of rain. So that chance of rain is going to continue to increase as the week goes on, and we'll see that Tuesday with a 50% chance of rain to go along with a high of 82 and a low of 67. And by the time Wednesday rolls around, it will be very likely that you'll be experiencing rain, as there is a 60% chance all day on Wednesday with a high of 84 degrees and a low of 64 degrees. So stay dry nights and enjoy a week. Now we'll toss it to our nightly news sports update.
Hey Knights fans, I'm Chris Wolf, and here's your UCF Nightly News Sports Update. If you've ever wanted to keep up what's happening with UCF student athletes, you can now. UCF Athletics recently released a new student athlete blog called The Shield. The blog highlights different students athletes to share their experiences as Knights and a look at their futures. Many have shared their frustrations through the blog due to COVID-19 canceling the remainder of the spring season. In spite of it, the athletes say that they're staying positive and focusing on overcoming this pandemic together. The blog can be found online on the UCF Athletics website, and you can even subscribe to receive athlete stories straight to your email. And that's all for sports. For more sports coverage, head to the Hitting the Fields YouTube channel. And now, back to Jayla.
That's all the time we have for right now. But remember, you can always keep up with us throughout the week on our YouTube at UCF Knightly News. And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynewsucf@gmail.com. Thank you for watching and have a great day.